Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today, I'm going to get things ready to wrap up the barn area. And what that's going to entail is I'm going to get some eye hooks, one right in this area somewhere, so I can hang that light right here while I'm doing all the electrical work. There's a lot to do here, so I want to have decent lighting, but I'm also going to put one somewhere in this area so I can switch the light, just move it over and hook it over here when I'm working on the rest of the room. I got to get things ready. Well, I'm going to do all the electrical and then test all of the boxes. I'm going to test the porch light, hook a switch up to one of the wires here, test the porch light, test the doorbell, get everything tested, and then we're going to finish any insulation that needs to be done and get this drywalled and get a ceiling in place and install the lights up there. While I'm doing stuff, I'm working on a punch list. Right now, it's just a list of things that I need to get done. And later on tonight, I'll tear this page off and I'll try to list everything in the order it needs to be done. So, the first thing I'm going to do is set up the ladder, and I'll put some hooks up there, these nylon hooks here, and get this more permanent. Then, like I said, I'll put those hooks in here. We'll get better lighting in here. And then I'm going to come back and get the rest of this organized. I'm going to vacuum out here. We've got a big mess in the bays here from when they came and installed the fiber optic. And like I said, I'm going to be marking down all of the stuff that I need to do the entire time. That's one of the big ones right there. I got to get the service entrance panel installed and install the breaker at the pedestal and then connect up between that and this sub panel here. Then we'll have full electric in here. Right now, it's running off of 20 amps, which will power anything on the circuits, but we need to have full power out here. It's going to be cold, probably in 2 weeks, but we have a pretty long stretch of warm weather here, so I want to get this done on windy, cooler days like today, and then on the warmer days, I'm going to be out collecting and splitting firewood. Okay, let's get going on that. Get this cord up there. What is this? Yeah, we got kind of a mess here. Okay. Okay, I'll show you what I got so far. You can see I got my clips in there, and then I bring the power in from here and split it to the two lights, and I have my remote there. Test this out, and there we go. You can hardly tell there's a light in there because of the skylights. They put out a lot of light, but not on a cloudy day. Okay, and like I said, I got a hook right here as well. I'm going to leave this right here for today and get this floor vacuumed. I have no electricity down here. Everything's running off an extension cord right here from upstairs. The library up there is done. I think what I'm going to do is, one of the first things I'm going to do when I do the wiring, I'm going to put an outlet in that box right there. Everything else is just going to be pigtailed until after the drywall. But the drywall, the drywall will go on this wall last. So I'm going to have an outlet there. so that I can have electricity. As I finish things working around the room, I can put the outlets on the other ones, but that'll be way towards the end, and I need electricity down here. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my punch list. Yeah, this is going to be nice and bright over here with that light right there. I got a good deal of work to do in this area. Okay, now I'm going to get this thing vacuumed up, and then we'll get this area completely straightened out and remove anything that still doesn't need to be here. I got rid of most of it. Most of this stuff here is electrical, but I believe, like, that's probably a heat gun right there, and I don't think I'm going to need that. So a few more things have to go, get this organized, and I'll work on finishing my punch list. Yeah, it's amazing the sound difference between that room and this room, with the insulation here and not that much over there. Okay, let's get her vacuumed up. I got that area all vacuumed up. Show you my punch list. Install porch light, install doorbell, those are pretty self-explanatory. And then I need to move the chime, which is this. I'm going to move it into this enclosed area. This area is going to get drywall, except for an area right in here, and there'll be a door that opens up to access all this stuff behind here. This will be on a shelf up here. I haven't designed it yet, but we have one similar to this in the house, and it's going to be like that. So that gets moved in here. I thought there was more equipment that the fiber optic people were going to be putting in. That's why I put the chime over here. It's really nice that it'll fit in here. Now we'll be able to get at all that stuff. Where was I? Hot outlet. Oh, move the wire for the doorbell. I have it going through a couple holes that have high voltage wire going through them. So I'm going to move that and then just run it right down the center. Okay, comm line for the studio TV. This will be Natalie's office right here. Kitchen, and then the studio will be right through here. And she's going to want a TV on the wall over here. So I have dedicated TV lines right here. So that's going to loop up and then go through the walls, and I'll just leave it curled up over there until we add that addition. Okay. A few of the things in the kitchen. Well, basically, all of the outlets on this wall are going to come off of this sub panel here. So we have a mini split shutoff that's going to go on the outside right there. We have a stove outlet, 50 amp stove outlet, that's going to go right in here somewhere. A microwave outlet that's going to go up here somewhere. And then a couple counter outlets. Yeah, outlets on South Kitchen. It'll just be 2 outlets up here. And then there's going to be, oh, and a fridge outlet here. I didn't write that down yet. And then we got a cabinet over there. Okay, and then I'll open up this doorway. So I'm going to have to trim this flush with the studs there. Take out that sill. Oh, I didn't write that down either. I got to get a subfloor in here. These 2 floors don't match in height. They both have the exact same framing. They both sit on 2x6s, and they're both 3/4 inch treated ply, but you can see it's probably a 1/4 inch difference. So we'll have to put a 1/4 inch subfloor in here. Okay, let me write that down real quick before I forget it, and then I'll get back to this. Where am I at? Open doorway. Okay, and cover header, that's right here. We have the far side in. I just got to cover this side. And what else? Cover the access hole in the floor. I had to cut that many, many years ago to change the electrical here. I had, what did I have? I think I had 20 amps in here back when this was just used for storage, and I switched it over to 30 amps. So I had to get at the ground underneath here, so I cut that access hole. I gotta open that up, get rid of this stuff on the sides, and get it all prepped up, and then patch that up with some treated wood before the subfloor goes down. Okay. Mounting blocks for water, outlets, etc. I really only need to do that here because I'm running the electric wire for the shutoff for the mini split. The mini split's going to go on the outside right in here somewhere, and I got to get a shutoff. The shutoff will probably be right here, but I'm going to drill through the wall and go right into a mounting block. Actually, I don't need to put the mounting block in there yet. I just need to drill through the wall, put the wire through, and cap it off out there. But I'll probably put the mounting blocks on anyways. The unit will, or the shutoff will mount to that, and it'll bump it out far enough so J-channel can go around it. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Front door is a little crooked. I have to take the screws out of the top and adjust the door a little bit. Then I'm going to get it screwed in place permanently. It's still in there temporarily. I'm going to make it permanent and then caulk and foam it and put the hardware on. I didn't write that down. Frame kitchen partition, which is this wall, but it needs framing on this side, which is going to attach right to the wall, and it's going to be 2 by 2 most likely, a full 2-inch by 1.5. So I'll get this all framed out, and that's what the drywall is going to attach to, and there's going to be wiring and stuff in it. Wire and test overhead lights. I have not run the wire for these overhead lights except right up to here. This is where the first light is going, so I need to run the rest of that stuff. And once I have power to here, I'm going to put the switch on that and test it. That's a 3-way, and the wire comes back to here. This box actually goes through the wall and is going to be attached to that framing that we just talked about, and I'll have to test it both places. That should be interesting. Test the comm outlets. I'm going to need to test both of these before I start putting drywall up. If there's any issues, I'll have to take care of it. Okay, get all the breakers in. All these wires need to go to breakers, and then I'm going to pigtail at all of the outlets, get it ready for its outlet, and test it right away. And then I got subfloor and fridge outlet, which I just wrote on there. Yeah, a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to guess this is going to take at least a month, but at the end of it, I should have this room completely done, and we'll be able to heat this. Oh, and the thermostat. These 2 wires, one is in, one is out, and it ends up over there. Once the drywall is on this wall, I have a 4-foot heater right there. I believe that's 220 volts. That's going to be the heat for this room. So I need to get this drywalled and get that heater set up. I'll have to run a temporary heater right there until that happens, if it gets below freezing. We have like 10 days where I don't think it's going to freeze any of the 10 days, which is pretty cool. Okay, I gotta go walk the dogs real quick, and when we get back, a little more work in here, and then we get to start work on this, I believe tomorrow, but I'm not sure on that. If there's no wind, any days where there's no wind, I'm going to be collecting and splitting wood, and the only reason for that is that the camera doesn't do that well with wind, so I'm going to be going back and forth between working on this and cutting, collecting, and splitting wood. All right, let me walk those dogs real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm out walking the dogs, and there's some kind of a machine right through there, and there's no houses or anything in there. Hear that? It sounds like a skidder. I hope they're not planning on logging this whole area right here. This is a reserve right here, and I don't know if they can log it or not by law. Interesting. I have to see what's going on back there. Did I lose a dog here? No, I did not. Okay, I'll get back with you in just a minute. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. Got everything nice and cleaned and organized. Got my wiring all done, my temporary wiring. We are good to go. And like I said, I'm going to be building like a thin wall here and moving that and this stuff here to this wall here. So that has to be done fairly soon. That's why I kept this area nice and clear. And whenever I get to it, either tomorrow or the day after, I'm all set up here. Got all my breakers there, my electrical tools. I'm going to get all of these breakers in, get all of these wires connected, do all the testing, all that stuff on that day. And I'll be going back and forth between collecting wood and splitting and all that stuff, and working in here depending on the wind. Yeah, this is kind of a short video, but it is what it is. This is what needed to be done. The biggest thing was getting this punch list ready. This is just the beginning. I'm going to go and produce a couple videos tonight, and as I'm doing that, I'll start going through this and making the actual punch list with the correct order and other things that I think of. And at the same time as I'm making the list, I got to make a list for stuff that I need from town. I'll run to town and we'll get this thing done really soon. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.